G'day and welcome to another episode of SuperCoach Paige. I'm Paige and I'm back as per normal, and I'm here again today with Matt and Damon. How are you guys?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you, Paige?
Look, we'll get into that, how I'm feeling later. That's really not important. Weekend's action, how do we go?
It was a good weekend. Started off with Richmond coming up against Carlton, and I believe last time we had a bet, didn't we?
What bet are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think it was a bet of if Richmond win by less than a goal, you will have to wear some sort of Richmond merchandise of my choosing.
That may have been the case,
I've brought in a lovely little hat here for Damon to wear, and he's going to be wearing it for the entire show.
Put that bad boy on, Damon, because...
We've got a show to run, Damon.
Oh my God.
That is a terribly poor hat.
It's itching me already.
That is awful.
I hope you defleed it.
I did.
Is this itchy?
Get your hands in the mittens. There you go.
Otherwise, it's just a case of me being allergic to Richmond stuff. Oh my God, it's so warm though.
That is a terrible hat.
So while he gets acquainted to that, how about we run through our scores over the weekend? I got 23-38, so pretty good given that I didn't have Adlet
fantastic,
captain.
actually. That is fantastic.
Oh, Damon did actually.
Let me just turn
well.
pages with my mittens. I got 24.08, so I was pretty happy with that.
And the superstar Paige, what did she get?
Oh, look, I'm just going to say, I had surgery during the week, everybody, okay? I'm not 100%. I made a few errors, just a few slight... No, it was Heath Shaw.
It was Heath Shaw.
But look, just for the record, I had a dismal week. I really don't want to say it. It's quite embarrassing. Look, all right, 2,102. I'm sorry. It is so bad. It is horrible, and I even got my very first donut, again, thanks to Heath Shaw. I'm going to get into that later, but...
You're doing good work, Heath.
Oh, my goodness. What a terrible week to start things off with.
We should go with the good points, though. Good points of the weekend. Ablett, number one.
Ablett, for sure.
Ablett. He's an absolute machine, messiah, God, everything under the sun.
And to think that I suggested that he may not be worth his money. I apologise to everybody who took my poor advice last week. I'll make that up to you, I promise.
And the week before that, with Dangerfield being the closest thing to Ablett.
Everyone.
Massive
I'm really hurting people out there.
So what's your big pick for this week? What do you think will ruin people's teams this week?
Look, I don't even want to say that right now because I'm so scared I'm going to piss somebody else off, and I really do apologise. But I mean, look, for me, it's Heath Shaw was was one of the bad points of the week. Dangerfield again, round one as well, but not really the weekend. But Dane Zorko didn't do that well. We're going to go on to underperforming premiums later, but a fair few over the weekend that are quite popular picks. So we'll discuss, what sort of things you should be doing with them and that sort of thing.
So how about some of the rookies on the weekend? They kind of put the premiums to shame.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Viney was one of them, scored 117.
Such a gun.
Absolute gun. Best on ground for Melbourne, clearly.
Without a doubt.
Put all the senior players to shame.
Very much so.
Rising star winner, Oliver Wines.
Oliver Wines scored 125.
It's huge for a first game.
Amazing.
That is absolutely. I can't remember the last time a rookie did that. That is just.
Michael Barlow. That's probably.
Oh, there you go. Probably that was in 2010. So I mean, that's obviously been 3 years since. But he was sensational and rightfully earned rookies around. I think.
And speaking of sensational, Brett Goods. What an amazing first game.
I still cannot believe he went undrafted for 10 years. I mean, that is absolutely ludicrous. You'd think that sharing the last name of his dual premiership and Brownlow brother, that someone would at least give a rookie spot to him over the years. But geez, he fitted in so well, and he didn't look out of place at all, did he?
He nearly didn't get drafted at all, actually. Like, he was just going to be the wellness manager or something at the Bulldogs.
Yeah, well, he was doing a lot of their sort of the counselling and looking after the players, player management, player welfare. So the fact that he now gets a look in, via that sort of that route, that's a great story.
It's very fortunate.
Very much so.
On the opposite end of the spectrum,
the premiums.
Underperforming premiums.
Look, I tell you
Unleash.
Look, it's about time because I've been really pissed off the last couple of days. Heath Shaw, your pre-match meal, get it right, mate, because you didn't even play for starters. So not only have you given me the shits this week, you were out with the shits. Jared Ruffhead, nothing. Bartel, nothing. Dane Zorko, nothing. Dangerfield, I've spoken at length at him the last fortnight, so I hope he's listening because I'm going to give you a ribbing later. But those guys in particular, my God, you've single-handedly ruined my team this week. And we even throw Brendan Goddard in there, who got 86 from memory.
Yeah, not fantastic.
No, it's not. And considering that we all do this when we have underperforming premiums in the first round, we go, oh God, there were so many other people that I was looking at to take that position, but I backed that person, and now it's wrong. And it's, you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but I didn't. And look, we'll just move on to this week. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm taking it 1 week at a time now. 1 week at a time.
Did you have anyone special that really screwed you over, or?
Looking at my team, I think my only premium that stuffed me up was Pavlich, 60.
Yeah, he
not
was
good for
terrible
Pav
as
either.
well, wasn't he?
And the Franklin owners wouldn't be happy either.
Buddy
62.
owners.
Yeah.
Well, his break even now is out to 204 from memory.
219. 218.
218. Well, there you go. So basically, for those who don't know what that means, and you should, if Buddy doesn't score 218 this week, he is going to drop incredibly in price after round 3, which is obviously when our head-to-head games start, as well as the price changes and so on and so forth. So there's a few premium players that are in strife, and we're going to touch on what to do with them later. But it's not a good start, is it?
It's a horrible start. But if you didn't have any of those players, you were doing very, very well for yourself. But we'll touch on to our player of the week this week.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much
little
decided.
monster.
It's hands down, Gaza.
What a week. And to think that I shit-canned him last week. How bad am I?
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And I do recall you saying,
don't
Joyce,
know my
that he
team.
was going to be playing up forward and it was going to affect his scores.
He kicked 4 goals. He did play up
He
front.
did.
exactly,
He
he did.
also had 30-something possessions
He
playing
did.
in the middle and single-handedly won the game. He left,
did.
everyone was in his shadow.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, he scored 80-odd SuperCoach points in the final quarter. He was on 96 at three-quarter time, and he just went bang and obliterated St Kilda. And St Kilda was a poor showing by them, but we're not going to get into that. But, I mean, I'm going to apologise to everybody. I think I owe you guys that. Look, I don't even know what to say. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's going to cut it, but you know, look, in theory, well, in hindsight, theories always look good, but in practicality-wise, that one really didn't pan out. But if you I know a lot of people took the Swan advice over, you know, from last week and said, "Oh, Paige, on the back of your advice, I've decided to piss off Gary Ablett, Brian Dane Swan."
Mistake.
God, I am
I was watching the game at my friend's house playing cards, and you know,
just casually cards.
just playing cards.
No, but
watching
okay,
footy.
cool.
And at
Not
three-quarter
checking your
time,
Supercoach scores or anything.
I was actually.
Oh, well, that's
At
good.
three-quarter time, I looked at my SuperCoach scores and I saw Ablett. He was on, what was he on, like 80 something?
At three-quarter time?
Yeah.
94.
94.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't think Ablett can, get a massive score. He should still stay at the same price or maybe go down a little bit. And then I just, watched the game more closely because it was a really close game. It was a good game. And I'm just watching, no, he can't kick this. Oh, no, he can't kick this goal. No.
and then by then we knew it. It was 178 points. And here I was gloating, Josh Kennedy. Look, everyone should listen to me. Josh Kennedy, captain, he had 160 points, and Ablett just went that little bit better.
And would you believe that he's actually going to go up in price? His break even this week is 54.
Oh, God.
So if you don't have him, chances of getting him are pretty much slim after the price changes. So
that's incredible.
Just means we have to get Swanee in instead.
Yeah, well, look, and I mean, and we'll touch on how to get on him anyway. I mean, a lot of people were thinking about trading, like doing a sideways trade or trading a premium down to a rookie to get cash elsewhere. And at what price do you cap bringing Gary Ablett into your team? So for the people out there who don't have him, who've gone, crap, I've got to do something now.
I'd just like for him to be a sub 700 for me to get him. But, that sounds cheap. But I like to get value out of my team, and I think Swan will give me that value. I'll probably trade Maloney up to him because, Maloney had a great game on the weekend. He scored 100, I think.
100,
Yeah.
100.
And what else can you ask, really, from a player at that price?
Well, I mean, we've seen a couple of people have gone, I'm going to trade down Patrick Dangerfield to Sam Dwyer and then use that cash there to upgrade someone else to Ablett. Is it really worth it?
I don't think
in
it
long
is.
term, or is that a knee-jerk reaction?
In my opinion, you never, ever trade someone between weeks 1 and 2 of the season,
Correct.
unless it's a long-term injury. So if Suckling got injured in round 1, for example, that would be one reason to trade out.
Very much so.
Lacroix, another one.
Lacroix,
Yeah.
another one. But never, ever, I'm talking to you people, never do it. Because it's a wasted trade. You have a finite number of trades and they're so valuable
We
towards
do
the end
have
of the year.
30 this year, so we do have a bit of room to splash, but I personally don't see going after Gary Ablett this week. I mean, look, if Dangerfield stinks it up again next week,
You'd have to consider
well,
it.
then, and then start considering. And I mean, I only say that because Dangerfield's break even is through the roof as well. That's into the 200s too. So I mean, on that respect, you'd have to go, well, if Dangerfield has a very subpar score again this week, and those of you out there that do have him, perhaps then that's when we start considering sell him while he's still got some value and trade him in before Gary Ablett goes up, which is ludicrous to think. But
he's going to go up.
That's definitely something we'll have
It's a bit silly as well, I think, as you said, like with the example, trading Dangerfield to Dwyer, it's kind of, I don't know, I think it defeats the purpose. I mean, you're trading down a premium to a rookie, and then you're going to be trading like another mid-price or another premium to get up to Ablett because he's so expensive. So it's kind of a waste of trades, even though you got 30, as you said, but even so.
It is a waste.
Yep. Now, there were a few people this week that, that some coaches selected in their team that really didn't perform, and a couple are starting to wonder if they should jump off this early now. Also, as you touched on before, Matt, that we shouldn't really be considering trading players round one unless there is a serious injury suspension. But look, Daniel Rich.
One, yeah.
Kane Lucas.
Yep. Jack Watts.
What
a game by Jack Watts.
Wow.
And Harley Bennell.
And Harley Bennell. Now, I mean, those four in particular were probably ones that are starting to cause a bit of grief out of round one. But what are your thoughts? I mean, we don't want people to make, snap decisions and knee-jerk reactions and...
Snap decisions.
Oh, look at that. We can use that next week. Snap. Good one, Matt.
Nice.
But, look, Kane Lucas, what do you suggest we do with him? Now, obviously, being the Carlton supporter, Damon, tell us, what do you think?
He's still going to get the opportunity, I think, with Mick. He's still experimenting with the side, and he's going to be playing Lucas in positions where he may not be accustomed to. But I think he'll still be playing in the middle. He's a genuine midfielder.
Yeah.
6 to 3 points. It's kind of what I expected from him. I wasn't expecting anything major, even though he did do all right in the preseason. He's still got a break even of -6.
Yeah. 16 handballs is what really worries me.
That's it.
You want Lucas to be a run and carry sort of player, and doing the handball, you can't really do that.
He's got a beautiful right foot. Now we've seen that he can.
As a Carlton supporter, that's kind of questionable. He can use it if he's not under pressure. If he's under pressure, he kind of tends to spray it. That's probably why he tends to handball over kicking. Because he knows he's going to get scrutinised.
I suppose so, yeah. But with his hard running, he does have that as a really good trait of his. You want to have him in that loose role on the outside. Like Kane Simpson is the one person that you want to watch.
Yeah.
With the way he plays, he should be basically doing everything that Kane Simpson does.
Yeah, exactly.
And
which is in touching on that as well, as even last year when Simpson went down with a broken jaw. Perhaps it was a bit interesting to think that Lucas didn't get the opportunity to come in, which probably threw a few people because he didn't get much opportunity last year. I know he did have his deficiencies in his game, and obviously was sent to the VFL to work on those, and he did have a few soft tissue injuries. But I mean, really this year, especially in the Malthouse, he should be getting more opportunity.
Yeah, I
think coaches should be persisting with him at the moment and ride the bumps. I think he'll come good eventually, and I think a lot of players are really getting to know that new game plan under Malthouse. But on Daniel Rich, now he was the wonder boy of the NAB Cup, wasn't he?
He was.
He was the highest averaging player, 118 SuperCoach points, and Nick Lower wore him like a glove.
Yeah. Great game by Lower.
Fantastic, and all credit to Lower because he did a super game. But to those people who've got Daniel Rich, what are your thoughts now, Dan?
Probably, I didn't have him, so it's hard for me to say. But again, I would give him another week. You've got to give these players 2 weeks. A couple of seasons ago, Shannon Burns came out and knocked out, it was 150 2 weeks in a row, and then started to dud it for the rest of the year.
And that's why he's at Melbourne.
That's why he's at Melbourne. And really, you've got to look at consistent form, not just best game in history. Like, you're not going to trade in Ben Howlett because he got 160 or whatever. Unless
you're in the trade, you're in the SuperCoach draft.
Yes,
but
very good way to trade it.
Not that again.
Amazing. But yeah, I mean, you've got to give these players 2 weeks.
I think so too.
Exactly.
And what about Harley Bennell? I know we said before that everyone was in Gary Ablett's shadow on Saturday night, but Harley Bennell, a good portion of people actually went with him because I've tipped him obviously to be one of my breakout players this year. He's not in my team personally, doesn't quite fit in with my structure, but Harley Bennell, 18 possessions, not much influence. I think he was victim of the Clint Jones tag, which again, full credit. I mean, taggers this week have just destroyed our mid-price and premium players. So what do we think of Harley Benell?
He shaved his beard. That's the problem. In the
Bring
preseason.
back the beard.
The wonder beard.
He was amazing in the preseason. Best on ground in the Indigenous All-Stars game.
He was, yep.
He had scintillating form in the preseason, and he's got Sydney coming up this week. So, they're a team that really likes to tag. So, you're not going to get much more, loose play against them compared to playing against St Kilda.
And Jack Watt saying this has been a pain for everybody, and perhaps what you were saying about Harley Benell's wonder beard, I think maybe Watts needs to grow one of those, because what he's got at the moment looks like
the bum fluff.
Yeah.
terrible. He looks like.
So he's got a bush on his face.
Yeah.
What's that movie that Wilson?
Oh,
That
Castaway.
guy. There we go.
yeah.
That's
Tom
the guy I
Hanks.
was looking
Yeah.
for. Tom Hanks. He looks like Tom Hanks circa bloody the 90s.
Yeah.
Really, doesn't he? He that beard's terrible. It's not working in his favour. He had no intercept marks. He barely did anything on the weekend. I don't think he had over 10 possessions.
It was shocking.
Yeah,
But
disappointing.
I think what we've got to start looking at is that I know he did really well in the NAB Cup, and people were saying that he was rolling off his opponent, he was penetrating out of defence, and was becoming a real playmaker. But my only fear for him is that he might be taken really deep this year, and Ken Hinkley singled him out on the weekend and played Stewart really deep and full forward, causing Watts to be accountable.
Yeah.
And if Jack Watts has got to play accountable football, you can expect more scores of 30-something.
Yeah.
But I mean, on that note, it's a bit worrying.
You would expect more from a number one draft pick,
Yeah.
certainly.
Who are they playing this week?
Melbourne are playing
Essendon.
Essendon this week.
Mm.
If Melbourne beat Essendon, I think we all need to have a celebratory something. Like
Yeah,
we
I
need to
think
wear
so.
something celebratory.
I don't think I can. Considering Carlton, Collingwood, and Richmond, I don't think we can really wear red and black next week, can we?
No, we can't.
No.
Look, I'll tell you what. If we get Essendon over the line next week, I'm going to bring on a special guest who is an Essendon person. He's well known in social media, so I'll leave that. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. But if you're not coming on, and you know who you are, and that's it.
All right, awesome. Speaking of social media, segment we're going to be doing throughout the year, tweets of the week. That's where we'll tell people how they can contribute.
Well, basically, guys, you can jump on Twitter. SuperCoach Paige will basically tweet. If you'd like to get involved with the show, tweet your questions or your thoughts or anything like that. You can just use the hashtag SCP Show, and we'll pick out our 3 favourites, one each that we will answer, and we'll discuss those for you. And we'll kick things off now. Maddie, who have you got for us?
Monique sent this one in. She was asking about Angus Monfries. He did have a good game on the weekend. I think he scored 114. And she's asking if he can be consistent enough to really solidify a spot in the team. I think he can. He played 3 quarters of football and he scored 112 or 114. And the only real reason that he was subbed off was because of Kane Mitchell. And Kane Mitchell just plays his role and has that forward defensive pressure sort of role. And there was no one really else that needed to be subbed off. You wanted to give a game to the younger kids, Ken Hinkley, and Monfries is obviously a solid player. There was no need to keep playing him after being up by 70 points or whatever it was.
There's no doubting at all that Gus Monfries is not in Port Adelaide's best 22, because he very well is.
He definitely is, yeah.
If you've got him, keep the faith.
Oh, definitely keep the faith. I think he could be your 6th forward there,
Yes,
and do a
definitely.
lot of damage as that.
And it's a great point of difference as well, because I guarantee you right now there'd be a very small percentage of people that do have him in their teams. So
And again, with the draft, if you don't have him and he's a free agent, pick him up.
yeah, get him for sure. And Damon, who have you got for us?
I've got one from PopeDog69. Good username.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Dog.
it means, but yep.
That old chestnut.
What are your thoughts of Pinnard Stevenson and Jack Frost? I need to kick one out, I think that is. Yeah, I need to kick one
Yep.
out. Personally, I would go, if you got either of them, I would go for Jack Frost. He's a young player, still developing.
In a strong Collingwood team as well.
A very strong Collingwood team. He's going to, fortunately, he's got his spot on the side. His shore was laid out. Not only that, I think, he's a key position player. So key position players tend to, you can't rely on them to be, scoring, massive
Consistently,
scores every single week. Compared to Pittard, he can run off, play loose in defence, and he proved that over the preseason as well.
Yeah.
Posted some decent scores.
He's playing the Daniel Pearce role, Pittard, so he's
he
always
is.
going to be giving those rebound 50s and that sort of thing.
Yep. And Stevenson as well. Like even though he's he's a tall defender, I think he's more developed than Frost. So out of those three, Jack Frost I'd probably drop. Yeah.
And I'm going to steal it off you now
Absolutely.
because I'm just going to pick one randomly. Now, who was I? Okay.
That one.
It was this one, wasn't it?
No, the one above that.
Oh. Yep. Perth Music Kid. I follow you on Twitter. You're a good guy. Is it worth trading out underperforming premiums to avoid the price drop? For example, Pavlich and Dangerfield. 30 trades is a lot to work with. I like your thinking. I do recommend it to a point, but you can't be too rash with your trades. I mean, I know people are going to get very trigger happy, and look, I'm certainly feeling the itch. Don't get me wrong, but with Dangerfield, I'm still sticking by my guns and what I said. He is the closest thing to Gary Ablett, and he will bounce back and he will do it great. I mean, if you look at the first...
I'm sorry, I can't.
I know, but if we revert back to his first week, he had a low of, I think it was 35% efficiency, which is just unheard of, because before that, his lowest efficiency by foot by hand was 64%. And now when you think of that, only
massive difference.
I mean, really only 6% in your elite status, and 70% is considered to be elite. So,
and especially given that he's an inside player, that sort of efficiency is really high.
Well, look, and not only that, he plays inside. He does all the great things. He tackles hard. He's a contested ball winner. He does the team things. But on the flip side of that, he plays a lot of outside. I mean, there's nothing greater than seeing,
him on the burst.
Yeah, on the burst,
like 50 to 55 metres out with the ball in his hands, streaming home for goal.
Yeah.
He's a star. But I mean, with Matthew Pavlich, I personally believe that starting with him this year probably wasn't the best idea. He's had a very injury-interrupted pre-season. He's had a few surgeries that have put him behind the 8 ball, and as a result, it slowed him down. So if you've got him, and I know he's got that hand injury, I think it's a really wait and see on him. I would consider trading him.
So get on Pavlich to score 200 this week then.
Based on your previous form, Paige.
Based on my previous form, yeah. But Perth Music Kid, I don't like Pavlich right now. I think he's more of an upgrade option. You could, I mean, look, his price at the moment, it's one of the highest actually.
Yeah.
So theoretically speaking, you can afford anybody. But if you want to keep the faith and hang on to him, by all means do it. But Pavlich is someone that I would probably say, fiddle around with at the moment.
Yeah, certainly. And yeah, again, send us again the tweets. We'll try and answer 3 every week. What was the hashtag again?
It is SCP Show. So make sure we'll ask again this week after the games on the weekend, and you can get involved. Make sure you send us through your tweets. Regardless, we're still going to get back to you on Twitter anyway. But if you'd like to appear on the show, send us your tweets.
Yep. All right, so we're just going to go through the final tips of the round. The
Junk
preview.
time. Everyone loves a bit of junk time.
Yes, we do. Up first on Friday, Saints Tigers. Who do you think are going to win that?
Saints Tigers. Well,
Just
having felt the wrath
Look at the
of
colours
this,
you're wearing,
of
really.
this, how can I not go for Richmond?
I'm going for Richmond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look, I'm to the Tigers. They're good things at the moment.
And it's not a one-eyed thing either. I tipped Carlton last week because I thought we would lose.
Although having said that, you came to the game with Ash and I, and him at the game was probably more entertaining than the actual game itself, because he was just there shivering, and he blamed it on the cold. But I'm sure
If I had the hat, I would be fine.
I'm so warm, you don't understand how warm I am right now.
So Tigers all round?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tigers.
Richmond,
All right. Swans, Suns.
The Swans, I was going to say the Suns, God. The Swans will get the job done, and I know they've been a bit lacklustre in their preparation, but they're still the reigning premiers and they're still a good side, and I still have them above Gold Coast.
Yeah, definitely above Gold Coast. I would have the Swans as well.
Yeah.
One thing to notice I'll go into captain choices at the end, but definitely Ablett this week for me. Bulldogs, Fremantle. This is in Melbourne.
Dogs Freo in
I'm
Melbourne.
torn. I'm actually torn because I really loved the Dogs last week and what they brought to the table, and they were fantastic. I haven't seen football by them for the last probably 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
That was sensational. No, it was
Came
actually...
from nowhere as well. It was without Boyd, their captain, so it was.
Yeah, they didn't look as predictable, perhaps.
Yeah.
But no, look, isn't the Bulldogs everyone's second team?
They are on the account that I kind of feel sorry for.
I like
Yeah,
Freo.
exactly, that's
I
what I
like
mean.
Freo as well, though. They're a good team.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna go with the Bulldogs. I am on the back of that performance. It's hard not to. No, Fremantle travelling side. Look, there's still a bit of a question mark there.
I'm going for Freo. I really rate Ross
Purple
Lyon as a
power.
Yeah,
coach.
yeah.
Yep.
On the back of the win against the Eagles, going to go with Freo
Yep.
as well.
Another close one coming up. Brisbane Adelaide at the Gabba.
Ooh.
Adelaide.
Look, it's sort of hard not to go past Brisbane at the Gabba, despite their insipid performance.
Well,
No
I
one will
think
use
the
that word.
Yeah.
performance would be a rocket for the players, I think.
I think
Yeah,
so too.
absolutely.
But
If
it's
anything,
crazy that I mean, two of the best teams of the pre-season. Well, Adelaide will obviously kick away from a grand final
Yeah.
last year, and both of these teams are potentially staring down, at a none and two start.
None and
so
two start, yeah.
That's a big thing. So I've got Brisbane.
Yeah, I'm going to go with probably Brisbane on the fact that they're playing at home and they've got the last week's loss to spend them on as well, and they don't exactly want to start 0-2.
Brisbane for me as well. Port GWS in Adelaide. Port could be 2-0. I'm going with Port.
Yep, Port.
I'm going with Port in a smashing.
Yep,
smashing.
and
Yeah.
it's the John McCarthy tribute match as well. So
Yeah.
that's going to be. I mean, if it wasn't already a big build-up for their first game of the year after a great first-round win, this is going to be a really big emotional
Yeah.
game, especially for the players, and the supporters will really turn out this week.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
really will, and I encourage them to do so. So that for me is the reason why Port will win.
Yep. Essendon Melbourne. I can't see Essendon losing this.
Yeah, look, like I said before, I'm going the Dons because Melbourne are rubbish.
They are.
They
Yeah.
are just rubbish at the moment. And look, if the Dons do get up, we'll have a special guest in next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Geelong. Oh, you're going to Dons.
Yeah, I'm going Essendon as well. Yeah,
Yep.
I can't keep Melbourne in the back. of
Geelong
the
North
performance.
Melbourne. Next one. Geelong for me. It's at it's at Etihad, so doesn't have the
Etihad.
advantage of skilled stadium.
I reckon
even
it
though
might be a
it's Geelong
close
home
one.
game.
The fact that it's at Etihad, North, posted a good performance last week against
They
the
did.
Pies.
No, they didn't.
I'm going with the Cats. I
Yeah,
can't
I'll
go
the
past
Cats,
them.
yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna be the odd one out and go North. Yep, I think too many of their players were missing this weekend, and our producer's going to kill me after this because he's a Geelong supporter. That old chestnut. So,
Yeah.
I'm tipping North. I think they're going to bounce back this week.
No,
And Geelong got a few outs as well, and Jarrah Rivers is no certain in lineup either.
certainly possible.
So-
Yeah. Eagles Hawks in Perth.
Another one.
Yeah, this is the week of contentious games. I mean, there isn't one easy to pick
God.
game this week.
Look, I'm just going to throw it out there, just for SuperCoach purposes. In the last 10 times Buddy Franklin has played at Patterson Stadium, he has not reached over 100 points.
How's that for a stat?
Okay? So, on that alone, if Buddy Franklin can't kick a winning score, then Hawthorn are no hope.
Yep.
I'm going West Coast, too good at home.
Yep. West Coast as well.
Yeah, West Coast, to bounce
Yep.
back.
And last one, the blockbuster of the round.
Here we go, Paigey. I
Don't
wonder what
touch
it
me.
is.
Collingwood,
Touch me.
Can I touch you with my
Carlton.
mittens?
Collingwood, Carlton. Who do you think's going to win, guys?
Be honest. I dare you to be honest.
Okay, I will be honest. Let me just put my other eye back in, so I'm not one-eyed. I'm going to go Carlton. I think Mick's going to, he knows the club, he knows Collingwood inside out, and I think that on the tactical side of things, he'll have the advantage there. And I think he'll get us up.
No idea we
Although-
You also tipped Carlton last week.
Yeah, having said that, we're going to be missing Eddie Betts.
And maybe Hampson as well.
Hampson, which is a good
Yeah.
thing. Sorry, Hampson, if you're watching. But he didn't play well.
I'm going Collingwood. Can't go past him.
Well, obviously, I'm going the Pies because, well, I do support them. But I think that we'll have a few players back this week, and we got smashed last year twice by Carlton. So it's given a bit of a dent to our egos, and I think Buckley has got a lot to prove considering Moldhouse knocked him about for 2 years at Collingwood.
Yeah.
And I think the apprentice rising up that'll probably be. I think it's Buckley's time.
And are we going to be sticking with the theme of the loser has to wear the opposition
Well, I get to
colours?
sit back and relax this time. I mean,
I've actually been scheming. Pull out my arts and crafts set, and I've actually got an idea. So if
Don't take that up as a living, mate. Do us a favour.
That's all. So if Collingwood lose, how about this? You have to wear a Carlton lanyard, and on the plastic bit on the end, I will put a massive red love heart with Mick Malthouse's face in it.
Piss off.
And
Malthouse.
what's your side of it? What are you?
Well, look, I'll see that and I'll raise you, and you can do the same with the Collingwood lanyard. And I'm going to throw in a Collingwood scarf. Just going to make you so black and white that you'll actually look part of us.
Prisoner's outfit.
Yeah, look, we
Yep,
can do it in
yep.
colour in
Knock
your
out some teeth as
yeah,
well. Yeah,
exactly.
yep, yep.
Look, just get really amongst it. And you can do it with Eddie's beautiful face.
As long
Sir
as
Eddie.
as long as it's his head, that photo of him when he was at the Brownlow when Judd won it, and his face was just
God.
tomato red.
That was
That would
the
just
best
shiver me.
photo I've ever seen.
Well, look, I think it's fair that we're going to have a couple of interesting calls this
Yep.
weekend. But look, we'll wrap things up with captains. Who's your captain choice this week?
Gary Ablett, if you have him, you can't go past him. He does so much better against the good sides. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you
He's-
don't, Josh Kennedy.
Yep.
Yep, he's a lock and load. Goes out every week. Just love him. Based on the back of last week, he was magnificent.
Yep, and based on that as well, I cannot go past Gaz this week. But if you're thinking about Scott Pendlebury, throw caution to the wind because Carrazzo has had the best of him the last couple of
Destroys
times
him.
that Collingwood and Carlton have played, and 62 last time, and before that was pretty ordinary
Pretty
too
average,
yeah.
from Pendle's lofty standards. So if you're contemplating Pendlebury this week, don't.
All right.
And that wraps it all up for our third episode of SuperCoach Paige. Don't forget to send us your tweets. Use the hashtag SCP Show to get your tweets and on the show next week. We'll see you next week.
Go Tigers.
See you later, go Peas.